Let's start with Fortinet. 2 days ago or something, they reported the quarter was mixed. For those who don't remember, we actually talked about Fortinet on one of the prior podcasts. They had an earnings that.
Let me guess, Don. Sorry. I got to interrupt you. Let me guess. The markets didn't like the report.
No, they hated it. It was one of the worst days it's had in many months. I think it was like a 15 to 20% drop. It found support at the 50-week, and I decided to buy in. Listen, it was up 8 or 9% when I went to the quarter. When I woke up after the quarter, I thought it was okay, which is why I was surprised the market slammed it 8% that day. Let me quickly show you a chart of what it looks like right now.
And I have a question for you. So, CrowdStrike and PANW have very decent charts. So
Yes.
why is Fortinet underperforming in such a dramatic way on its other two peers?
Yeah, so let me
Do you have? I mean, if you happen to have an explanation for that,
I actually do. Yeah. It's you ask a very good question, because that was the question I asked myself when I woke up that morning. I'm like, this is supposed to be one of the big three. This was supposed to be its moment. I bought right over here, like literally at the that second EUC in August. I bought within 1 or 2 days of that. My basis was 75. Rode it through. This is technically a higher low that it made 3 days ago. So you can consider, if you're technically trading this or you're still interested, the chart's not broken, and it looks like it's going to close above the 50-day in blue at 83.36. So that's all great. But at the end of the day, over 3 months of time, 8%, and then not doing enough when expectations were lowered to buoy an 8% gain when the rest of the market's gone crazy just wasn't enough. So I asked myself, why? And to do that, you got to look at the cohort. This is the 5, I think, easiest names to recognize in the cybersecurity space, their forward PE, and then their EPS growth expected year over year for 26, 27, and 28. And then on the far column,
that's a significant discount relative to CrowdStrike, Zscaler, and PANW. Significant.
Well,
so what is it like the markets are not expecting this company to grow as much as the other three companies?
I think that's the right takeaway. If you look at the average 3-year growth, can you see this, by the way? Am I sharing it correctly?
Yeah,
you can see it.
What a good chart, bro. Congrats, man. Yeah, thanks for this information.
Thank you.
This is great info.
So while CrowdStrike's expected to not grow their EPS next year, the analysts are expecting 30% EPS growth years after that. For Zscaler, and I didn't know this about Zscaler, this is actually really impressive. 12%, 20%, 23%. Palo Alto, your favorite, I think they're getting a nice valuation. I think they could get valued higher, but the reason they're at 55, even though they're only growing 2% more than Fortinet, is because it's so consistent. And there's absolutely no questions about it. And then you see the other ones below, they're just not growing as fast, so they don't get the same PE. So another way of looking at all of this data is if you chart it, forward PE and the 3-year average. And what you see is that CrowdStrike and Zscaler have clearly separated themselves from the pack, and I think Palo Alto has a chance to do the same. The problem is that Fortinet, Checkpoint, and Okta, there's either doubt there or there's something going on to where the market's not willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm in CrowdStrike. I'm also in Palo Alto. I don't have any Zscaler, but if I had to redeploy the Fortinet money into another cybersecurity name tomorrow, I would consider Zscaler, because they're clearly doing something that I think is kind of sneakily gone under the radar. So, point in case, I sold Fortinet because when I reviewed the state of play for cybersecurity names, I'm like, why do I want to be in a name that's trading 33 times forward and only expected to grow on average 11% a year for the next 3 years? It just doesn't make any sense.
And that EPS expected growth matches the revenue growth expectations. I can show you that quickly here. Do you happen to have it available?
I don't have the revenue growth. Sorry.
I just pulled it up. So yeah, let me show you. Hold.
No, take your time.
Let me share my screen. Can you see it?
Yes.
There you go. So take a look. So for 2026, 11% is expected as the year-over-year revenue growth. 11% 2027, 19% 2028, and 9% 2029. I mean, 20% for 2028 is a lot, actually.
Yeah, they must be expecting.
Yeah, revenue growth is expected to pick up in 3 years, but 2026 and 2027 is like, I mean, it is 11%, which is good. But we are talking about a valuation, as you said. What's the forward PS of that?
31 times forward. 31 times forward.
32 times forward earnings. So I don't know. It is trading at a discount relative to its peers, and the company will be growing revenue at a very acceptable percentage. Let's say, yeah, even if we talk about 2029, this is a 10% expected growth in revenue for 2029. I mean, good for them. Let's see what the analysts think about Fortinet. These are price targets 1 year out, right? So 130, $91 and $67. So the most bullish analyst on the stock, or are foreseeing Fortinet to be trading at $130 1 year out. So that's a decent return, I guess. $91 is the average price target. And, $67. The bearish ones. I mean, I would say that what's not to like about the stock, other than the technical chart, that.
Well, actually, I think the technicals aren't.
So.
I don't think the technicals are actually all that terrible. And what I mean by that is, if you get above, hold on and wait for it to load.
Correct.
If you get above the 100.
But I was talking down.
Oh.
I was talking about the relative weakness,
yes.
Relative to from a technical standpoint, relative to CrowdStrike and
Palo Alto,
and PANW,
Zscaler.
Right? Correct.
But I mean, just to give people actionable, I would wait for this to prove itself. If it can get above the 100-day, which is descending, so I would expect it to act as resistance at 88.74, have a couple days above there. I could see this becoming a very nice trade candidate to fill the gap back up to 96. I'll just leave it at that. I'm just trying to find.
Okay,
go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, let me reconcile the expected revenue growth for the upcoming 5 years relative to PANW. So let me show you this. And let's go see. Okay, let me share my screen again. This is a very interesting topic, and I want to dig into this a bit more. So let me see. Can you see? This is PANW, right?
Hold on, there.
So
it is,
yep. Okay. 2026, 16%. 2027, 13%. 2028, 12%. 2029, 12%. And 2030, 12%. So other than 2026, 2027, PANW is expected to be able to grow revenue pretty much at the same pace relative to
it's not just that, it's stable, it's reliable. Like, there's a little bit of choppiness in Fortinet's numbers, and they also they decreased their final fiscal quarter for this 2025 year guide in Fortinet's quarter. I think it introduced some problems. If you want to look at it from like a narrative, or rather an actual business standpoint, Fortinet is in the process of doing what Palo Alto did in February of last year, where they decided to go much deeper into their cloud-based services by getting rid of some of the hardware. It's just taking Fortinet a longer time. I don't think Fortinet is like left for dead. It's going to be a piece of crap. I just think that if you need to allocate capital to the cybersecurity theme and you're going to choose Fortinet, you're not choosing the best in breed, and you're not choosing one that really has a chance to become the best in breed,
Yeah, but take a look. When we reconcile the expected growth of Fortinet relative to CrowdStrike, then the difference is huge, bro. Take a look. So this is CrowdStrike, as you can see here. So 2026, 23%, 2027, 21%. Wow. 2028, 22%. Wow, this is very, very impressive, bro. So this is the reason why this is the most expensive cybersecurity stock. Because this is the company that is expected to grow the most in the upcoming 5 years. And I gotta tell you that when we see analysts projecting on any given industry that the revenue is going to be growing at 20% or more during, say, the next 3 or 4 or 5 years, that implies that no one has a clue about where the top for the demand of the services of that company is located at. So no one is foreseeing the some sort of a top when it comes to the demand for the services that CrowdStrike is providing. So wow, I mean, this is jaw dropping, to be honest with you. Yeah, very impressive. Yeah.
You want to know what's even crazier? I'll check this out.
I didn't know that CrowdStrike was expected to grow at this pace, for real.
This is the CEO of CrowdStrike, George Kurtz. He won Le Mans the other week with his team. He actually drove, and they won Le Mans. That's the CEO of CrowdStrike. This is crazy. When I heard he won Le Mans, I thought they meant like he sponsored a car that won. No, he got in the car and drove for hours at a time. Like, he raced and won in Le Mans. It's crazy.
Well, I don't want to see the CEO of a company that I'm investing in, running out.
I do.
No,
listen,
I don't like it, Dan.
What happens if it's trading at 125? But if he crashes, he's not going to crash. He's George Kurtz. He's George Kurtz.
He could
die. Not going to crash.
I mean, this is an extra risk.
No,
this is an extra risk.
If he didn't race at Le Mans, Alvaro, it would only trade at 115 times forward. This is 10 turns on the multiple right here.
I didn't know this. This is impressive.
Hold on, how many?
I mean, talk about crazy CEOs. I didn't know this. This is crazy.
All right, hold on.
I mean, this is a reason for me to stay away from CrowdStrike. I mean, definitely.
When is the last time someone died in?
But there's a risk.
The last driver to die at Le Mans was in 2013. It's been a while.
I mean, he could also die, taking a flight from Los Angeles to New York City, whatever. So,
do you feel like he's rich enough yet to where he still he doesn't need to drive himself anywhere anymore? Does someone drive him around?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that. I mean, but he's running at what, 250 miles per hour, so that's an extra risk, I guess. But whatever.
I mean, it's one race, Alvaro. It's done. It's done.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, so you did buy the dip on Fortinet, and is it a long-term investment or
no? Two quarters ago, I bought it because I thought they were going to turn their business around in a similar way that Palo Alto did, and it took Palo Alto 1 quarter.
Okay.
And I've been in the stock since. That was, I think, February of 2024, maybe even earlier. Fortinet, when they reported and they showed us that they didn't have the same momentum, they didn't have the same execution as Palo Alto did when they were doing it, to me was an indication that it may be time to rethink the idea that Fortinet is going to assert itself as one of the big three. And if I had to take a guess as to who might otherwise take Fortinet's spot, I would say it's Zscaler. If you want to pull up their growth, Alvaro, I think they're 20% consistent next 2 years.
And I have news for you about Zscaler. Yeah, and I'm talking about a friend of us.
Yeah.
Dan Ives was pumping Zscaler yesterday with Frank Holland, pre-market. Not pre-market. What's the name of the program at 5 a.m. on CNBC?
5 a.m. I don't know, dude. I'm not up at 5 a.m. to watch that.
That is the Worldwide Exchange.
Worldwide Exchange?
Yeah. Frank Holland is a host. Correct. So he was live with Frank Holland at 5:20 a.m. or something like that, talking about Zscaler. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
the stock.
According to Koifin, 2027, 2028 EPS growth of 20.5 and 23.4%, respectively. I think that it has a chance to be the net. Oh, sorry. Let me stop sharing. My bad. That was a confusing thing. Go
take a look. So yeah, this is Zscaler. I got you, bro. So take a look.
Can you put it up again? I think I may have. Can you put it up again? I think I might have accidentally. I think I might have accidentally closed it. That's my bad.
Okay.
My bad.
No, that's okay. Let me do it over.
I want people to see what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay. So look, 2026, 26%. And 2027, this is year-over-year revenue growth, or expected year-over-year revenue growth, of course. So 19% in 2027, 19% 2028, 19% 2029, and 18% 2030. Unbelievable also. Very impressive growth. Very impressive growth. In the case of Zscaler, this stock is trading at $331. So the most bullish analysts, how many times?
86 times
86? Oh, that's a very expensive multiple.
Very expensive.
So $390.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course. Yeah, I mean, we can make a case here then that as long as the markets do not foresee, there goes the market. Just the trading
Just
session
closed
just
up.
closed.
There it goes.
So yeah, 4 p.m. in the East Coast.
East
So
Coast.
the things with multiples is that as long as the markets believe that the business model of a company will keep growing, and as long as the markets don't see a potential top for the demand of the services or the products that company is making or is selling, then you can pay whatever multiple you want to pay. And in the case of Zscaler, yeah, this is a very expensive valuation, but take a look at the revenue growth that is expected in the case of this company. Very impressive. 18%, 19%, 19%, 19%, 26% in 2026. So for the most part, no one has a clue about until when the revenue of this company will be growing at a very steady and fast pace into the future. So that's it. That's why they are paying very high multiples to this company. That's it. Period. Full stop. There you go. So, long story short, you're no longer involved in Fortinet,
Not in
right?
Fortinet. Still involved in Palo Alto. Still involved in Crowdstrike, and I'm happy with those two. And I think if you wanted to make a bet about Palo Alto, there is clearly room at 13% expected earnings growth for them to beat on earnings, which I think would allow them to get a re-rating higher instead of being at let me see, what was it at? Instead of trading at 55 times forward, maybe gets to trade at 60 times forward if they can, bump that 13 to a 15 or to an 18.
Okay.
That's kind of the thought process there.